Hey guys, Press Bill Comic Book University and Suicide Squad issue number 19. Now, I read this comic fairly regularly ever since the Black Vault thing started. I dropped off after Rebirth issue number 4, I think it was. But yeah, I know what's going on. I will read the Suicide Squad just to get a gist of what's going on, and once in a while I will do a review if I feel like it's actually pertinent to one of the stories that I typically review. And this is crucial to the story that's going on in Action Comics. This is part 2 of a larger part. I guess it's going to be at least 3 parts, but whatever. Anyway, so what happens here is that Cyborg Superman and the Eradicator show up. We saw all this happen in issue number 979, I think it was, of Action Comics. Anyway, yeah, it had to have been because 980 is out this week. So this story will actually pick up and continue there if you want to find out what happened to Zod from this point on. So basically, Zod is free, and Cyborg Superman and the Eradicator go in, and Eradicator, of course, is like creaming his, robotic pants because he's like, oh my god, he's pure Kryptonian, and unfortunately, Zod is not House of L, so he's not happy with this L technology. Anyway, so he's not going for it. And yeah, the idea of Neil. Anytime somebody says something about how Richard Donner Superman is not, like 1 and 2, is not like the epitome of Superman, sorry guys, it absolutely is. And here's just a further proof. I didn't see anything referenced from Man of Steel. You know what I'm saying? All due respect. So yeah, there's this talk of Neil and don't talk to your general that way and all sorts of good stuff like that. Basically, the line is drawn, and he says, everybody's going to follow me. You will all follow me. But after the Black Vault itself is destroyed, because Katana's sword, turns out, Soul Taker is able to penetrate it, which I think most of us pretty much figured that was going to be the case eventually. The trick here is that Rick Flag actually decides to sacrifice himself. And in doing so, he leaves the team without any kind of a leader. So at this point, there's a lot of leadership questions here, which is actually really interesting when you think about the diaspora of this. Currently, in the next issue of Suicide Squad, we're going to have to see who's going to be the new leader. So we're going to have tryouts, right? And over in Action Comics, we're going to see that Zod is actually going to be joining up and serving, believe it or not, under Cyborg Superman, even though he's much more powerful than Cyborg Superman, which is weird because if he's more powerful than Cyborg Superman, how exactly is Superman supposed to beat these guys? Just because he can't beat Cyborg Superman in just a straight up one-on-one fight, Just, wow, man, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be crazy interesting. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give this comic a B-. This was a fun read. The art wasn't great in the first couple pages, and I guess suddenly Edwards decided to wake up and start, I'm not trying to come down on him at all. Just, I have my bad days when I draw too, and I can't draw like this guy, So, but, you have your bad days once in a while. Anyway, really good stuff. There was one, top quality portion of this comic and one real low point. The low point clearly has to be that we were finally going to get rid of frickin' Amanda Waller. And stupid Rick Flag just has to take Suicide Squad literally and decks her so that, for the greater good, so that he can be the one who does the sacrifice. Look, I get the idea that, because I 6 years military myself, I understand. You're not going to trust a civilian to do this nonsense. She's not really qualified as a civilian, though, is she? So I understand, in a sense, the idea that you want to make sure that this gets done. But a suicide mission is pretty much a suicide mission, especially once you cross that threshold of no return and entering the Black Vault. That's it. You're done. So I don't see why he couldn't have just let Amanda Waller do what she's got to do, especially in light of what later on he was already dead air quotes for when Zod says, I'm sure that you will eventually destroy the world. You will succeed in destroying everything that you hold dear because you're just simply not fit, basically. So like even Zod is leaving her alive because he knows that she's going to destroy everything. I mean, come on. Worst creature on the face of the DC universe. I'm including villains, all right? Like she's detrimental. Anyway, high point has to be when Boomerang, in the beginning, was, what do you call it, Eradicator and all them, they come in and they say, we're looking for something, a weapon. And he says, boomerangs? Is it boomerangs? He doesn't throw the boomerang. He's smarter than that, believe it or not. But then later on, when he actually says, boomerangs don't work on these guys, I actually checked, they don't work. That's just... Okay, that's actually laugh out loud worthy. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.